ladies and gentlemen, with that, we move on to a very interesting session titled Accelerating Hybrid Cloud Agility for Industry 4.0. And we have two gentlemen who will be speaking on this subject and sharing their insights. Laxmikant, we don't require the chairs. We don't. Laxmikant Kandi, DC Partner Account Manager, West Region, India, Dell Technologies, and Jawahar Chakraborty, Head of Business Infrastructure, Pentagon Systems and Services. First up, I'd like to invite Laxmikant Kandi. I'd also like to invite Jawahar to join Laxmikant on stage, please.
Thank you. Good evening, Pune warriors. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. I know it's been a long day, long afternoon. So with me, I have my friend Jawahar from Pentagon, and I am from Dell Technologies. I'm part of the India channels team, which predominantly get a chance to meet you all from storage platform and solutions team. So I'm part of the West team. I'm based out of Mumbai. We will be very happy to meet you all after the session to discuss. So primarily we thought while Industry 4.0 is evolving from 3.0 and a lot of interesting things are happening around us, so we thought we'll spend some time how we're trying to kind of address those needs and gear up for the 5.0 which is ahead of us, right? So, and one of the things we thought we'll pick up was how do we help you beyond those devices, aggregators, and see if we can help you actually in that hybrid cloud journey, which is one of the active component which the industry leaders or the forums are also recommending for a 4.0 readiness, right? So firstly, I wanted to start with a big thank you. We just concluded the last fiscal year, and with all your support, it was wonderful. We could still do better compared to our colleagues in the market, and mostly from the storage perspective, we had a good market share, close to 30%. And most of the portfolio we could actually modernize and make more relevant from the customer need perspective. So what we see from the left to right is some of the portfolios we actually kind of innovated across the last year, trying to gear up with what customers were looking at from a multi-cloud or a hybrid cloud journey. To start with the Power Protect, which is the data protection suite. So we introduced a cyber recovery solution last year, which was predominantly there, but it became more relevant seeing the kind of ransomware or the threats we were seeing from a customer perspective. So what we also did was we tried to push that from an on-prem to the cloud. So most of my Power Protect or the cyber recovery solutions are available in the marketplaces also. The second was file and object. So all of us agree that today one of the new storage type we are looking at is the S3, which is the object. So we also kind of put in a lot of products into that bucket, which is not only trying to give you, help you address that kind of a workload from an on-prem, but also on the cloud, right? And then we were also doing very well from a hyperconverged, which is a jointly engineered with VMware VxRail. So what we did last year was more specifically for the gentlemen in this room is we could bring in more rugged nodes, which are needed for a harsh environment in our industry environments. So we launched a model called VD 3000, so which is basically built the hyperconverged environment or more ruggedized servers, which ideally can be used in an edge or most harsh environments, right? We also kind of did some improvement on the PowerFlex, which is a software-defined storage platform we had, which predominantly is a kind of a heterogeneous hypervisor environments, which we all seeing today, right? So it's not just the kind of a VMware or a hypervisor or a Red Hat. So we are seeing different environments around the virtualization, and not just at the compute level, even at the storage level, right? So, and what we also did with PowerFlex was we now are able to host this on various marketplaces. So ideally, you can have those hybrid cloud environments where you have a Perflex on-prem, and then you can actually leverage the marketplace products both on AWS and Azure. Today we have on AWS, but soon we will launch on Azure also. So you have a unified communication happening between both the clouds what you have on this, right? The last thing is something which is the storage, the primary storage which we had, and we were doing very well, especially on the Power Store, which was launched 2 years back. But what we tried improved in the latest version of Power Store was make it more relevant to the Kubernetes and the cloud native applications, right? And that's something which was more demand or ask coming from all the customers from across the verticals, that while we were doing good on virtualization, we are now wanting to move into a next shift of the containerization of our platforms, which is giving us that agility, right? And that also will give a new bridge between both the clouds, whether it's private or also public clouds, right? So, and apart from that, we launched Apex last year while it was there the year before, but Apex actually made a good story for all our customers. It's a pay-per-use kind of a financial model we introduced last year. And what we did last year, and we will be also doing better this year, is we're building an entire practice on Apex now. So all the portfolio, the technology we have will now be available as Apex. So this is the story we want to bridge both the gaps is from the ground to the cloud, where we are talking the on-prem environment will also have a cloud kind of a capabilities. When I say capabilities, is the support the DevOps teams needs, those application team needs, those supports in terms of those APIs which will help push the data from both the worlds. And when I say cloud to the ground is those products which are now available in various marketplaces, right? So, and when I actually say we are trying to bridge, then we are looking at can I actually kind of buy the hardware on-prem also as I consume, right? So while I have those things from a feature perspective, but financially will it make sense to have that as I consume, right? So that's something is all Apex all about. So this year we'll have more feathers adding to Apex. So last year we introduced something called Flex on Demand, which is basically the hardware what we use and then kind of position it as you want to consume based on your needs. We also launched Epic Backup Services, which is backup on the cloud, AWS, which was there, and we'll continue to do it better for this year also. And what we wish to also introduce this year is Apex Data Storage Services, which is basically the storage on the cloud, right? So you will be very soon getting a lot of announcements in the Dell Technologies Forum. But more predominantly from today's context of 4.0, we all agree, we have been listening to most of the leaders, this industry is giving the edge to Indian economy, right? So close to 25% contribution from GDP is expected from most of us sitting in this room. But what I felt interesting in this was there is a robust demand. So there is, people are looking at this industry, the manufacturing industry, that how do we kind of improve ourselves to kind of get to those GDP targets which the economy is looking at, right? And then we have increased investment coming across the world. FDI is coming and a lot of governments are trying to help us with policies which will help us kind of accelerate this particular thing. What primarily is it's giving us is a competitive urge within our own country, but also outside the country, right? The Building Bharat, the Make in India thing, which is actually for us as an OEMs, we are not trying to put a lot of factories within India so that we get and generate that revenue within the India, right? So continuing that, what is this entire thing is getting redefined is we are getting more smarter in our edges as well as our data centers, right? So if you look at a maturity curve versus the data volumes and the industry impact, most of us are in different journeys here, right? So some have already started with the smart sensors, which most of my colleagues were also discussing, the IoT devices, how do we aggregate them? Are my machines smarter enough to get, kind of aggregate those sensor information and are more smarterly working? And when I have a factory which is more smarter with these smarter machines, which are very specific good to kind of deliver to the market, right? And then if I have to really look at these multiple smart factories building an ecosystem for us, which will be part of not only just the factory, but a logistic, a supply chain, as well as the sales and the HR system behind it. So how are all those elements around those manufacturing or the industry able to deliver the impact towards the industry, right? So if we actually microsegment that, what we are primarily saying is probably the way we are looking at data, those devices, what we have today is probably edge, which are our factories, are giving more of insight, those sensors, those information of what's happening at the edge. But most of our IT is still sitting in our data centers, at the core data centers. But what probably which might change in Industry 5.0 or probably while we move from 4.0 is this might change. So Gartner is expecting close to 75% of the data will be generated at the edge. The factories, those data which are being generated by the sensors need not to come to the data center actually to be kind of churned and give relevant insights to us, right? So the edge and the enterprise edge, which is the data centers at our factories, will need to be more smarter and more powerful to be able to understand those insights and give the predictive analysis and analytics then and there to the teams sitting in those factories, right? So if we actually bisect that from the product perspective, what we are doing good from a Dell's perspective is we have a huge portfolio which was supporting the actual edge, which is the basically your plant or where your people are actually working, right? So it could be there is a huge OEM team which is building those devices more rugged, which we normally use as laptops or workstations, right? So we have a huge portfolio of servers, desktops, laptops, which are being built, which can take care of those harsh environments. And also from a form factor, they can go behind any of your OEM device and IoT device, which actually can be a very smaller device or sit just in any of those brackets kind of a thing, right? So what it primarily can help you is aggregate the data at the edge and then help you build the enterprise edge at these factories, right? Which primarily is not just aggregating things, but it will be a bunch of applications which basically will do those aggregations and also gives those analytical applications which will crunch the data which your IoT devices are generating. And probably you would need a kind of a security framework in and around, because these are very sensitive data from an edge perspective. And you might want to still have a kind of a feeling of your core data center on the edge also, right? And then we move this data to actual data center, probably from a DR perspective or even from further analytics, is where your core data center will work, right? So coming back to the actual topic, how we can help you from a hybrid cloud perspective, I would invite Jawahar if you want to give some insights on this.
Yeah, thank you, Laxmikant, and very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So about Pentagon, like we are dedicatedly working on infrastructure and parallelly working with the cloud practice also. So let me continue with the flow of this, like for the applications and then infrastructure and then DevOps. So we are catering an address to all these three direction, and because if any customers like required any cloud practice along with the infra, so we try to complement that customers through our offering and through our services. So in that case, like for the applications, there is a legacy applications, cloud native, then AI ML, and then services. So these for application perspective, like we have this expertise and we are addressing our customers. And little bit about, I will talk about our cloud practice. Like we are multi cloud partners, and we have 10+ years rich experience of cloud, and we are servicing our large enterprises and organizations and helping them to adopt cloud and new technology, and also throughout their journey we are services them and help them. So as a
To go back to the previous slide, or this is?
It's okay. So I'll just about overview of our cloud managed services. I can say like we are multi-tier of competencies, like on security, on networking and storage and backup, and even with Microsoft and Oracle, we service our extreme customers And so we have a dedicated team, like 100 plus resource we have to address our cloud customers. And I'll talk about our company a little bit on the late. And so we have 24/7 support, then 70 cloud experts for our lifecycle management. We have time for strategic engagement, then tools and automation we do adopt and support our customers, then hybrid IT, then cybersecurity, and this is one of the strong point I think nowadays. We are addressing the security part very strongly. And migration support, this also we do, and we are tier and strategic partner for very large migration. Any project we have done lots of migration in a very big way. Then proactive customer activities, then 10 plus technology partners with multi-cloud practice that I've already shared. So about Pentagon, I'll just talk about that. Founded in 1994, we have 28 years experience. We work as a typical system integrator, but we have started our cloud practice last 10 years. So as a infra partner and as a cloud partner, we complement like our customers in a very, it's easy for us to address customer pain area. So if customers, we try to, first our approach is a total consultant. Like if it is like, generally a customer requirement is for cloud or they want to be in the infra, so we try to identify that thing and accordingly we propose our solutions. So we are now nearly 510 plus employee and 400 plus certification, and this certification I want to mention is all paid certification and on different technologies. So we have invested a lot in 5-6 years on the technology front. Then 2,000 clients across verticals, and we have dedicated 350 customers from the cloud perspective, and we have some global customers also where we are supporting 24/7. Offering IT consulting solutions and services, headquarters in Mumbai, and apart from that we have presence in Pune. We have a dedicated Pune branch. Then in south we have Chennai and Bangalore, and east we have Kolkata, and north we have Delhi. But for our enterprise customers, like we have reached to more than 200 locations for any kind of support, any kind of branch development, branch setup that we do. Then service delivery center in Mumbai and India. We have a lab also in lab and R&D center in Mumbai. Then we are ISO 27000 and 2015 ISMS certified also. So we maintain that all security prospect within our organization and with our customers also. And about the revenue, last year we have done 780 crores. And the current year, like we are just approaching, we have taken a target of 1,000. So, and we have already achieved that figure. So that's about Pentagon. So I think Lakshmi,
that's great.
You can.
Jawahar, I think you've made your number, made your money for this year, and we look forward for more revenue from you. One thing I want to add, what Jawahar said is we have a COE with Pentagon, so Center of Excellence with all the Dell products, and as he mentioned, they have a cloud practice. So most of the products which I mentioned, which are available on the cloud marketplaces, we can help you do a kind of a demo, or you want to evaluate those products, or we can leverage Pentagon's team. So they have an office in Pune as well, and Mumbai also. We'll be more than happy to.
I just to call upon Mr. Suhas, are you there? Yeah. Mr. Suhas is heading our Pune branch. So as you are most of from Pune, so I just to introduce Suhas over here.
So he's the local champ. So he's
Good evening all of you. I'll be based out in Pune, and for any local assistance, probably you can just reach out to me. We have already, I think, distributed most of you the cards. So all of you can really take the advantage of that. And whatever requirements or any solution-based requirements which you have got, we can probably help you out. So that's all.
Thank you all. Thanks
you.
for listening to us, and have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.